Hey, welcome to the Good Fight Collective podcast. We're so excited you're with us for this one. On this episode, we're going to be interviewing a really good friend. Good Fight Collective is a ministry that George and I get to steward, and we know that we're stronger together. And our hope for this podcast is that we're giving you some content to challenge and encourage you to think about fighting the good fight of faith.
Yes, we're excited to welcome Pastor Darren, a longtime friend of ours who's a pastor out in California now. So welcome, Darren.
What's up, fellas? Good to see you. West Coast to East Coast. Glad. Thanks for having me.
Good technology. Darren is for me, is in the last year, is the Good Fight Collective has become a thing. If I was to make a list of guys who have been, for me and my band of brothers, fighting the good fight, Darren, whether he likes it or not, is one of those guys. And we worked together on staff with Crew a long time ago, and have been brothers, and it's just been an incredible journey through highs and lows of life. I mean, literally, we've walked through all kinds of things that at the same time, we've had a front row seat of seeing God do some really things that we can't explain that are a lot of proof that he is God, because we're not that good, and he is, and he's done some amazing things, and we've had the privilege of being able to see that and to just navigate life together. And so we're really excited to have you on this podcast, because you really, to me, are a great example of what it means as someone trying to fight the good fight.
Well, thanks for having me. One of those cool things that we got to see God do was last night. One of our former students, Mike McDonald from Crew, won the Super Bowl. Coached the Super Bowl. He was one of the students we worked with back in the day, and that's a fun thing just to be a part of. So we've seen God do a lot of fun things, cool things, amazing things, and that was just a fun one we recently got to experience.
Gosh, man, it's so cool. He on the platform when they were interviewing him, and he said, God told me to do this, and so I'm doing it. And I thought, how cool is that? He just got a global platform. God
called me to be a coach.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So Darren is in California now. We worked together here in Georgia for a long time, and he's a brother to both George and I. And so we're honored to have a few minutes to talk with him today. Just to get started, Darren, what does it look like for you as a pastor of a church, as a husband, as a father, to try to fight the good fight of faith? What does that look like for you?
Well, it looks like losing sometimes. Fighting a fight. I'm a fighter by nature, honestly. And I know a lot of men are, maybe not as much as I am, but I run red, run hot. Fighting the good fight for me, sometimes it means fighting against my natural self, to learn to let go of my flesh and allow the Spirit of God to lead me. And I recently was teaching a marriage series, and the picture that God gives us to the world of marriage is this picture of a man and a woman giving and receiving, and God really gives us his word to plant in our soul, so our soul can nurture it and produce fruit in us, in our lives. And I think for me, fighting the good fight means that I've got to be intimate with God so he can produce what's good for the world that comes out of me. Otherwise, what I produce on my own is not really always a healthy thing. And so for me, the place it starts is for me personally having my own personal time with God, to be intimate with God, so he can plant his word in my heart, and my soul can nourish it and then produce the fruit that's good for the world. And so if I don't have time with God, if I don't have intimacy with God, it's really hard for me to fight that fight.
And Darren, much like the coach that you mentioned that was under your ministry at Centennial High School, you kind of said, not really, not right now, to the church in California. But then you jumped in and you went kind of in the same way, right? Because it was just obvious. God told you to go. And now talk a little bit about that change of around here in Georgia that you'd been for so long and had band of brothers and had lots of relationships. How's that affected you? What have you been out there, 4 or 5 years now?
So it'll be 6 in August. Yeah.
Wow.
The craziest part for Molly and I was when you move like that to a place where you know no one, and you're coming from a place where you did 20 years of ministry, kind of every time you go to the grocery store, Home Depot, you're going to see somebody, hey, what's up? How's it going? Oh my gosh, what are you doing? I remember my first time walking in a Home Depot in California and being well aware that no one would say hi.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't see anybody. And it felt very, very alone. Um, the good news was during our interview process, Molly and I met some people that we thought they could be our friends. This has potential with these people, but it was COVID. It was church outside. It was stay in your homes, lock your doors, hide your kids, hide your wife. I mean, it was like, no friends. So that was a tough start. Honestly, it was really a matter of, Lord, you got to bring people and friends. And over the years, we have developed some friendships that have made the difference. But it just took time, and it took intentionality, and it took conversations like these where we said, hey, I need people to be my friends. From the very start when they interviewed me, I said, I can't come out and be a pastor who is friendless. I have to have real friends, real conversations. And so I've put myself together. I'm in a men's group now where there are 11 of us. We sit around a fire pit every other week and we talk about real life. And I'm allowed to be myself. I don't have to be Pastor Darren in that circle. I still am sometimes, but I can be regular Darren, dad Darren, husband Darren, guy who's struggling Darren. And that's a beautiful place for me to surround myself with real men.
That's cool. I do think we all need that place where people know your name, but they don't care about your title. Like where you can just be you, or people can call you because they love you, not because they're trying to, yes men or whatever. I think that's a fascinating part of leadership for sure. Hey, what do you wish people knew? Like, I think a lot of times we go to church and we hear the pastor and, we think, you just spend all week getting ready for the sermon or whatever the people think about the pastor. But, you're leading a team, you're leading a church, you're trying to invest in a community. You've got active kids, you have an incredible wife. Like, what do you wish people knew from your perspective as a pastor? We have a lot of leaders and pastors who might be tracking with what we do. And so from your perspective, what do you wish other people knew about trying to fight the good fight from the seat that you're in?
I mean, there's probably a lot of answers to that question.
Yeah.
Sometimes pastors act like their life is so hard because no one understands them. And my life's not that hard. It's not the worst job in the world. I get so much joy and excitement about being in the middle of this fight. Like fighting's kind of fun. And when you're fighting for the hearts of men and women, there certainly are days where you're exhausted and worn out and carrying everybody's burdens. But Carl, this is the funny thing between you and me is that I don't carry everybody's stuff. You've made fun of me over the years, like you're such a heartless pastor, because you don't carry anybody's stuff. Where you're the guy that carries the weight of the few that you're working with.
Yeah.
Whereas I listen to everybody's stuff in the moment. I care about you.
Yes.
And so I've got this line as a pastor that I've developed myself, where I just say, listen, in the moment, I'm going to care, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you. I'm going to do everything I can to serve you, encourage you. And so I care, but I will never carry your crap. So I'll care, but I won't carry. And so that's helped me fight the good fight, is that I love to care for people, but I do not carry their stuff. As soon as I leave the office, I'm on to my kids, my wife, my coaching. I just let it go. And so I don't know if that's a skill God gave me so that I could care for more people. I'm just not, I'm not burdened by the job.
Yeah.
And so, I do the best I can. And kind of like if you ever did P90X with Tony Horton, he would say, do your best and forget the rest. And so that's good. What I do. I do my best and forget the rest. And so your question was, what do I wish people knew? Kind of wish that, or I guess I want people to know that it is a joy to be in the fight. And when you get tired and worn out from the fight, you've got to have a place to go get rest. Rest is really important.
Yeah.
And so that means friends, that means vacation, that means, taking a break from caring for people for a while, whatever it means. But it's a joy to be in this fight. I mean, I don't want people to think, oh, my life is so hard because I'm a pastor. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know you have an amazing wife and 3 wonderful children, and that's incredible that you've been able to make that break. Somebody probably just needed to hear that right there. So that's phenomenal. So I know it's probably not much different in California than it is in Georgia or any other state or around the world, but how difficult or what's the process you've gone through to try to get men involved at church and in church and in even groups or just the whole in your 5 almost 6 years now? Total different context out there for you.
Well, a little bit. The first thing I did was go to Chick-fil-A, meet the owner operator of Chick-fil-A. So that's the same.
Boom.
South California, wherever. I said, I got to know the Chick-fil-A operator. And his name's Chris. He's become a good friend. He attends our church, is on our board. And Chris texted me a little while ago. He said, man, I've never been to a church where I look around and this many single men are walking into church. Usually it's wives dragging their husbands. And it looks like here where we got husbands dragging wives or men coming in. There's men all over the place. And so, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, for that. If I were to give you like, well, you can just do this and this and this, I can give you some tips.
Yeah.
But I can't give you the like. This is one of the things, honestly, that I do, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but I talk about sports a lot. I mean, I wear Seattle Seahawks gear and I make fun of the 49ers, and I start by telling everybody we love you, but I'm going to make fun of you. Like I love you, but I'm going to tease you. We have men's basketball night on Mondays. We promote softball leagues. When we do man nights, we just have fire pits in the parking lot. We created 10 fire pits in a parking lot the other day. I had 100 guys around fire pits. We try to do things that speak to the heart of a man, and we put it on repeat. When we do man nights, we've done grilling classes. Let's do a grilling class on how to grill a great steak. Bringing chefs in for that, and then we just try to do things that speak to men specifically and women specifically. So we don't leave women out, but we do specifically try to do things that speak to the men, and we grunt and we make fun of men, and we have. I mean, men's love language is teasing and joking. And so we tease and joke and we love each other. So I think men feel that.
You're real with one another. If anything I know about you, you've always been real, and what you see is what you get, and it may not be what you want to hear, but I'm going to give it to you. And you,
I mean, I like it.
and I know as well, and it's not just the men and the women, but it's also you went into the local schools, even though this is more about for men and stuff. You went immediately, like you said, to the Chick-fil-A, that's great advice. You went to the local schools and says, hey, we're here to help. What can we do? And you just rolled up your sleeves and got some other guys to go with you and rolled up your sleeves and just loved on the community.
Yeah. I think part of it is as a man in leadership, trying to lead people, part of it is just people want someone who has a plan.
Yeah.
They want someone who is going to lead the plan and execute the plan and just tell me what to do, dude. And so the plan was we're going into the community, we're going into the city, we're going into the schools, you can come with me. And for the first while, I led everything. I led the student ministry, I led the young adults ministry, I led I probably was leading women's Bible studies. I was leading everything. I was doing 1 year. So it was just me and a couple other staff, and we wanted it to grow. And so it was like, well, for a season, I told my wife, for a season, I'm going to have to do this. I'll find people to replace me, but I got to get it off the ground. And so we had a plan, and we called people into it. We needed help. And so I just got guys and men, and I just showed them what it could look like. And so, I don't know if that answers the question, but I'll stop talking now.
No, and I'm going to follow up with one more thing I know about. And how many of you done the nights of worship in the city? I mean, you went into the city that just doesn't really know God. Doesn't care to know God, and you did some nights of worship. How many of those have y'all done? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we When I first moved here, we stayed at a hotel on the square when I was interviewing, and I looked out on the square and I was like, that's a perfect place for a night of worship. And it took us a few years, but we started calling the city and asked if we could rent it out. So we kind of do it around the same idea that North Point has done, Be Rich, where we're going to include generosity with it. So we found organizations in the city who were doing good work for single moms and incarcerated folks and feeding the hungry and those kinds of things. And so we raise money for that. And then we have a big party on the square with food trucks and worship. And we invite all those nonprofits to show up, and we hand them a check and say, keep going. We love you. We're for you. And the whole church comes out that has been raising this money for the last month to celebrate those donations. And we call it, This Is Our City. And the whole idea is, this is our city. It's your city. It's my city. If it's our city, let's do the best we can to impact it for good. And so our reputation around town is beginning to become that we care about people, and we don't care. We don't necessarily care that you agree with us spiritually yet. I mean, maybe you'll get there, but we don't withhold care because you don't agree. You know, so we care for you whether you agree or not. And I think that's probably the heart of Jesus. Like, he just cared for people whether they were ever going to come to him or not. He went and loved them. He didn't first require agreement for him to be in their home.
That's so good. It's a great segue to a question I wanted to ask you. Segue, like I use that word every day. You have a gift for sure of, and I'll use our language, of calling people into the good fight of, you could use the word evangelism, but you have such a great heart and gift to be able to, whether it was, working with people who are nothing like you when they were high schoolers, or, being in a community for the first time, you have a gift of calling people into the good fight. The question I have for you in that context is you think about that, and as you're getting older and joining the journey of the rest of us. You don't have gray hair yet; you're on your way. But how do you, like, for you, that you have always been a man that lives on mission, and man, I'm going to call people into something that matters. Can you unpack that a little bit? Just the idea of, hey, like, I want to live a life that matters. I want to literally invite people into something that means something forever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I already got, what I wanted to say to that was, God changed my life, and I grew up in faith, but I was super prideful. And our Terry Earwood, we were at an event one time, and I was struggling with a breakup, and I didn't know how to handle the thing. And so, candidly, since we're being honest and real men here, he was like, "This is a 2 beer problem." So we're at an event. He goes, "Get me a couple beers," and I don't know if we could say that on here, but that happened. This is 20 years ago. So
and we had to drive to a random place to find it. Remember that? We don't go to that story, but
to the back of this Toyota, and he speaks life into me about, bro, this is what you need. This is how you got to see it. This is what forgiveness looks like. This is, blah, blah, blah. But basically, he reframed my whole understanding of pride and arrogance and humility in the Christian life. And from that point forward, I treated ministry completely differently. It was no longer about how good I was, but how good God was. And God changed my whole life, and gave me such a blessing in life, and such a great life, and such a mercy, that I truly think this is the best life on the planet. That the best life there is to walk with Jesus and to know God and to follow him. And so when I invite people and call people to come do this thing with us, it's not like, but I'm not sure if it'll work, but I don't know if you'll like it. It's like, no, you freaking need to do this because it's going to change your life. And so I don't know why you wouldn't say yes. I mean, when I was recruiting students to come to summer camps, I would just be like, why would you not go? That would be a dumb decision to not go. You should come with us. to summer camp because it'll change your life. Like, I just assumed they would go. Why would anyone say no? Why would anyone say no to any of this? And so part of me, when I approach people, was just like, God changed my life. I know He changed my life. I know He's the best. I'm just offering you the greatest thing in the world. Why would you say no? And so I have this confidence of like, you need this. It's good for you, and you will like it. It will change your life. You know, I know you don't like green eggs and ham, but try them. Try them, Sam. You will see. You know, and so I just think this is what you need. And so why would they say no?
Yeah.
That's what gives me some of that confidence of, man, I just know they need it. So, and I don't know if that's helpful, but that's kind of what I got
That's
from your
great.
question.
That's cool.
No, that's fabulous. And you mentioned camp, and I know there was a handful of kids that went, and all of a sudden you employed your tactics, and I was actually able to be out at one of your camps, and there were hundreds of kids there. And it was amazing, and they were of every different look and everything, and all being loved on and being shared that Jesus is the way. That was amazing time.
Yeah, well.
And let us not forget early in Darren's ministry when we were doing a camp. And we allowed him the opportunity to spend a lot of time with students.
You used me, both of you.
Yeah.
Here. You guys.
Yeah.
Man,
No, hey, to that bit, so folks know that, when I was an administrator at a Christian school, we'd go off on retreats and lead retreats, and these two guys I'd drag along, and Darren was the youngest one of it in that time, and we stuck him in a cabin with kids while Jason and I stayed in the leaders' cabin. But on a good note, there, these are the two guys that were in the trenches with students, that had the heartbeat of students, and I'm going, wait, there's a new platform on social media. These are the two guys I would call and go, explain this to me. I have no clue what this is. And man, these guys were all over it and have helped me along the way in that. So it goes both ways. It goes a lot of times you need somebody that, again, we've talked about, that you're reaching up to, that's helping mentor you, and you need to be reaching back and helping that next generation and guys all together as well. So these guys have been, especially that, in the trenches, in the footholds, and letting me know what's going on a lot of times. And I was like,
we're very familiar with you saying you have no clue.
Hey, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say I have no clue. That's for sure. So Darren, you talk about some of the things, especially in the early parts. And that's why kind of the Good Fight Collectives come about a little bit, because we want some pastors. We want to come along and be open-handed and go, hey, you're there. You're the one single pastor doing so many things. And we want to come and just go, hey, we're here to help. We're here. Yeah. What's your vision and mission? We're here to help you get men gathered, help you get men groups, help you get men moving. Give us a little bit, if you would, a little bit about how that might help some pastors, especially that were in your situation, maybe move along a little bit quicker in that piece. You know us and you know our hearts, and that's kind of what we've designed and we felt God's called us to do, is to come to other pastors and go, look, don't be out there thinking you're by yourself. We're here. We're here to help. Yep.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for you guys to unpack for pastors a little bit how you would approach that. Like, how would your methods weave with the method of their church? So, for example, our church, we have groups that launch a couple times a year. Put them on the website. You can get in a men's group, women's group, married group. You can get in the pickleball group, the hiking group, the basketball group, the Bible studies, the men's, all these things that you can do. You can take a class on how to read the Bible. There's all these ways you can get plugged in. And then for me to go, okay, now there's an outside agent that can help me with groups when I already have a person running groups, or I don't have a person running groups, I'm running groups, whatever the case is. What is it that you guys would offer that would come alongside our men's groups that would help our men's groups thrive and get better and better? And so I think I know there's a value to partnering with an organization like yours, where I can execute all the gathering and then you guys execute the content and the retreat or the content or the whatever. So the value is in learning, I think, how it is that the two of you and your organization is going to come alongside. So I want to throw that back at you.
Okay. I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the plan for someone like me who has a church, has a group of men, and wants to get them moving in the direction of this good fight.
Yep. I'll take it to start with, and Jason can jump in on that. But you presented a couple different scenarios. You presented now, Darren, with groups and all kind of stuff going on. But if you turn the page back 4 years ago, Darren, hey, I'm here by myself spinning every plate. So
Right.
we kind of look at it sometimes in the organization. We've been called to help you either define, redefine, or refine your men's ministry. So early, you were trying to define it. You were just trying to go, hey, and that's where we would come in. Okay, Pastor, where's your heart? Where do you want to go? You're spinning all the plates. We'll come in, we'll help you plan the event, we'll help run the event, we'll help train your leaders, we'll help get the guys into groups, and then we'll help with content and get your groups going. And then hopefully 6 to 9 months, we'll get your guys off to a retreat, if not before, just to solidify your groups. So early on in yours, we could have, if we were around then, we weren't around at that time, we could have come in and helped you just define everything that where your heart and your passion was. Some groups are going and they have that pancake breakfast, which is great, or they have that once a quarter, or that wild game feast once a year. They're like, hey, this is what we have, but can you help us redefine? We want to go a little bit deeper, and we go down some of that. And now you're at the point where, hey, you've got things going, and we work with some different churches this way. We just need to come in and help them refine where they are. Hey, I've got guys, I got them in some groups, but you know what? They're kind of maybe more social right now than they're not really getting authentic and deep. And we can come in and help come around in that piece, add some content, maybe have that retreat that goes off and solidifies the groups of, hey, yeah, you need to love each other. You need a band of brothers. Hey, but getting real and authentic with each other, that's where it really is at. So that's how, in a big nutshell, really quick, define, redefine, or refine with your heart and your vision and mission at your church for your men's ministry.
Yeah, and I would just add to that real quick. I think the challenge for us that we've embraced is that, and Darren, you know this as well as anyone, every church is different. And so we are trying to be open-handed. We have a plan. We want to help get you engaged, but we're also not coming in, hey, here's our 3-step plan, take it or leave it. We're trying to be super open-handed, to listen and to adapt and to serve based on the needs of that specific church. Because literally every church has its own language, has its own culture, has its own calendar. And so that's really been the unique part of this too, is learning this rhythm is so dramatically different with every church. And
Is it fair to say then that you guys are asking the question, where are you and where do you want to go?
yeah.
Yes. From the standpoint of what Jason just said there, and as like he said, you well know, every church is a little bit different. And every pastor's heart is a little bit different. Every pastor has different spiritual giftings, and a lot of times they're taking the church towards their spiritual giftings. So we've got to be aware of that piece. And, we've even talked to you a little bit about, hey, possibly doing a retreat, because that's kind of your, next step. Kind of in that, something closer by, and helping drive down some of the values that you see that you want in the core of the men at your church.
Right.
Is that helpful? Does that make sense? That's a good question. I love how you flipped it on us. You're pretty good at that.
I just didn't want to answer.
Well, that too. So anything else that we didn't ask you that maybe we should have asked you, or that you would say, because hopefully, like I said, there are some pastors that are listening to this that have been in your spot trying to get things going.
Yeah.
You're kind of in that now, that, hey, I've got some things going. We just love, because you are, I hate to say this, but you are a wealth of wisdom, mainly like most of us through our failures. I can't be too nice there, but right, we learn more from our failures than our successes, because a lot of times we don't know why we're successfin, but boy, we sure know why we failed.
Yeah.
No, I've got plenty of failure for sure. Well, in that vein, I would tell people, just keep trying things. When you're small, like we were when I moved here, you're a speedboat, and you can pivot quickly, and then as you grow, you become more of a yacht that moves slowly. And so, if you're in the season of like, we're trying to figure this out, just go for it. Try different things. Throw it on the wall. See what sticks. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to pivot. And I mean, this is a great example, but I love leading games with students. Okay. And it's hard for me to watch someone lead games when the game is going poorly and they should hold the eject button 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
And it's like, we don't need to continue to see this lame game that sucks. Like, this is a terrible game. Just say, we're moving on to the next thing, right? But they just keep digging into this boring game. I think the same principle applies to the things you're trying with men. If it's not working and you tried it and it's just, this is lame, just call it lame and move on to the next thing you're going to try.
For sure.
Just pull the eject button. That didn't work. Sorry, guys.
Instead of backing it up and doing the same thing again next year and hoping for different results. Yeah.
And that's where we're like, hey, we've done that. We've done that with you. We've done that in our lives. We've done that. We want to come around and help you, especially the pastors that are too busy to even put enough time, energy, and effort into this because they've got, not because they don't want to, but because they've got so many other plates they have to spin. So we want to come around and help them with excellence to create that men's ministry in an atmosphere that it is enjoyable, that's something men are drawn to, they want to come to.
Well, I think the only other two things that come to my mind when I think about other advice is, number one, I mean, you really do. This is cliche, but pastors miss this all the time. You need to pray for God to lead your men and lead your ministry. You need to be in prayer. And so many pastors are leading from an empty tank, an empty prayer tank, and just, I got to do this all myself. I got everything going on. Like, you just need to be on your knees and ask God to lead you, and then be okay with whatever he leads. Like, be at peace, bringing it before him. That's one thing. And then second thing is just call the Good Fight Collective, obviously. I mean, duh.
Well, how about
just
that?
call you guys. Yeah. And call you guys, get you guys involved. I know you guys well enough to know that your heart and your desire is to genuinely be real about helping leaders lead men. And I am excited for what you guys are doing, because there's so many churches that once they hear about you, once they understand what you're doing, will call you, and you guys will take it seriously, and you won't do the like, well, we're just an organization that sends you our little gadget and widget that's going to help. You guys are boots on the ground kind of people, and probably going to actually slow your growth of your ministry down, because you guys want to have a big platform that makes a big difference. But you guys love people too much, and so you're going to end up getting stuck with people, and it'll slow your growth of your ministry down, but it will increase the trust that you build, because you guys will love people so well each time you do something.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. Yeah. Appreciate that. And that is, you've captured a lot of the heart of where we are. And as I like to always say, you lead from your overflow. And if you're not putting in the time in the word, in the prayer, actually going, hey, I need help, because, hey, I'm not overflowing, I'm empty. Somebody come in, somebody come help. And that's really why we feel like God's called us to come around and help some churches, not to come in to take over, not to try to promote the Jason and George show, but to come in and promote Jesus alongside of the pastors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you guys serve. So I love it.
Cool. Well, Train, by the way, Darren's nickname is the D-Train, and so I always call him Train. And when I say Train, sometimes people are like, what do you, he's just Train. He's
love it.
The D-Train. Should we tell people why you have that nickname, or not? Just leave it out there?
I don't even know why that's my nickname.
I do believe one of the reasons was there was a time where he was the fastest hurdler of a certain skin type in America one year for colleges. Is that true?
I ran the 110 hurdles, and I competed at the 1998 U.S. National Championships, and I was the only white guy in the race.
There you go. There you go.
22nd. That's the white guy, and it's been part of how God has allowed me to have such a diverse friendship in groups now, because I was middle of the pack back in the day.
Well, you've always been a battler and a fighter, and now you really battle and fight for the hearts of folks for Jesus, and that's amazing. Just watching you out there from afar, and having been able to visit you a couple times. Man, we just, from the Good Fight Collective, just pray blessings on you, your family, and your church, and just so greatly appreciate your time. Any closing words?
I love you guys and praying for you and proud of what you're doing. And I know you're going to make a difference. So thanks for having me on. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
It's an honor, man. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah. Until next time, as we fight the good fight, let's fight on.